for being able to come and speak to you. And you're one of our most distinguished ambassadors. You are in a position to always help people, and you always used your privileges to help others. It's a very big thing. Not everybody does it. So, Rafat, you and Shaukat were in school together, right?
Yes.
And?
I was in St. Anthony's School in
Lahore.
And we were there till our school leaving certificate examination.
Fantastic.
The matriculation, that is.
And then you joined the Foreign Office, came back together?
Then he went to Karachi, I went to Lahore, and we carried on our studies. Then it so happened that Shaukat Fareed decided to go to London and Cambridge, and I got admission at the Sorbonne in Paris.
No, so you understand a lot about leadership. Leadership at the Foreign Office level, leadership at the country level. Give me two examples. Give me one from the Pakistan service and give me one from your various postings.
It is not so easy to find leaders who can carry out their job and responsibility with efficiency, integrity, honesty, all together. But we are people who have hope. We are people who get involved in hard work. Now, if I were to look back and look at the present also, and I were to talk about the leaders who have impressed me and so many others, I can think of a few, and of course I would include from Pakistan, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and an outsider, Nelson Mandela, would be a person that I can never forget.
How do you know Nelson Mandela?
You know, I was telling Mr. Mandela, I used to call him Mr. President, even when he was not president.
But this is when you were ambassador?
I was ambassador in Zimbabwe.
Right.
And he was in prison.
At that time when you got there?
Yes. And it was 1990, February 1990, when he was released.
So you were there during that historic moment?
Yes. And the news was announced that Nelson Mandela had decided to visit 7 countries in Africa to thank them for their support.
Wow.
So
after coming out of the prison?
After coming out of the in February.
Imagine that.
So when I read it in the newspaper, and it was a big event.
Of course.
Nelson Mandela coming up.
I didn't realize you were there at that time. Wow.
I said, now on the day of the convocation, he was being awarded an honorary degree. So when everything had finished, and Marina, you know, I am not a person who will show much or announce much, so I do my work quietly. So suddenly there's an announcement from the stage that will the High Commissioner of Pakistan come up to the stage, please? So I said, why should we, with thousands of people there lined up at the university, why have they called me? As I got up, the Soviet ambassador, it was Soviet Union then, oh, degree, honorary degree, I just went up to stage. And now Nelson Mandela was very weak. He just left the prison. So I was quiet. Winnie Mandela, then his wife, was quiet. Mandela did not know what was happening. And so after a minute or two, she said, Winnie Mandela, that High Commissioner, you asked for an appointment. But I said, Madam, not in this situation, that there are thousands of people there and the stage, and I have to come up. So I'd like to meet Mr. Mandela separately, if possible. So before anybody could say anything. One young man, about 15, 16, whatever, young boy, barged in and said, no, he had no time, in a very arrogant manner. So I said, fine, I'll wait for my turn, and when President Mandela comes to New York, to Zimbabwe, to Harare, I'll meet him, or I'll go to Johannesburg. Anyhow, so he kept quiet, but then said, when are we leaving? So this boy says, tomorrow. So he said, what time? He said, afternoon, something like that. So Mandela said, Mr. Ambassador, can you come tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock? I said, Mr. President, I can come at your call at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, anytime. So he said, let us meet at 6. And I
6
went
a.m.
there at 6 a.m.
Wow.
I went there at Sheraton, and Marina, he was standing there in his suit and all, outside the door of his room, and welcome, Mr. High Commissioner. And this was my first meeting, responding to your question. Then somehow it happened, I got more opportunities, so much so that when I met him for the last time on the 8th of August, 1992. I met him on the 8th of August because I was transferred from Harare to Brussels. So I had planned my departure on the 10th of August. And 8th of August, I called Mr. Mandela and I said, Mr. President, I just want to thank you for all that you have done for me every time that I've come. He used to come to the elevator whenever I went to him to see off. So, and I said, thank you very much. And I can say without any fear of a statement that no ambassador, not counting your ambassador, no ambassador of a foreign country would have met you 8 times in a one-on-one meeting. So I consider myself to be a very
Huge privilege,
proud
oh my
ambassador.
God.
Now I wanted to say that, so I said, I made it somewhat emotional, and I said, Mr. President, I leave for Brussels with a heavy heart. Why? I said, because I failed to send you to Pakistan during my term. So at that time, the lady, his secretary, she was coming in with tea, coffee. So I said, because of her. He held my hand and said, don't speak against her, she's my boss. So I said, Mr. President, that is why I'm saying, so that she can hear it. So he said, no, I will go. Now this is the 8th of August. I will go. How can you go? She said. Your daughter is getting married. When is she getting married? She's getting married next month, September, whatever the date was. So he said, I will go after this wedding. So I said, I had a notebook. I closed my notebook and I said, Mr. President, I came to you as the High Commissioner of Pakistan, but I am now sitting next to you as your travel director, and I am going to fix your itinerary now, because I knew that she will do something and it may not happen. So he said, okay. So I said, we will, now for Marina, you know that for extending an invitation to Mandela, I think any ambassador can go as far. No government is going to say no to him. So he said, I said, we will arrange for you, Mr. President, we will arrange for you five first class tickets and three first class tickets and 5 tourists. So he said, Mr. Ambassador, I don't travel first class. I said, Mr. President, from Nairobi it's our flight, PIA. He said, no, but I don't. And he said that, okay. Then he said, okay, I said, I will go to Brussels, but I will still be managing your tour. So that was, and it did take place. I had gone away, but it took place. But one thing that I want to convey to you and to share with you was that in the same meeting, he said, I told him, I said, you will go to Nairobi. From Nairobi, you'll fly to Dubai. From Dubai, you will go to Islamabad. And he said, how can I go to Islamabad without paying homage to my hero? Sorry, I will have to go to Jinnah first. And that had to be done because I think Mushahid Hussain was the minister in waiting.
Karachi.
And Hakeem Saeed or somebody. Oh no, the Don Mahmood Harun, he was the minister. So I sent them a message that he's not asking for a party or stay, he just wants to go to the mausoleum and then go to Islamabad. So that visit took place and it was a very important visit. So in that meeting, and I want to mention it specifically, he said, you know who is my hero? So I said, Mr. President, I know you are my hero like you are to so many millions, but I don't know who is your hero. Jinnah. So I was surprised, pleasantly surprised. So I just kept looking at him, said, no, ask me why. So I said, why? Why did you reason for that? What would be your reason? He said, I learned my freedom struggle from Jinnah. So I said, nothing would make me prouder than that, to hear about my leader. So this was my meeting with Mandela, and the way he was there with me for football, for cricket, for dinner, for parties. He was not a friend, he was a leader, but he was very
of
kind.
course, he took to.
So that was. So I told him, I said, Mr. President, I am seeing you for the 8th time in a one-on-one meeting, and I have never heard a word from you against your captors. So he said, Mr. Ambassador, we have suffered at the hands of apartheid. We do not want to apply it in reverse. So I said, this is Mandela who can say that. And I doubt if anybody else would. You just had to say one sentence, and that was, I give up the fight. After all, your son passed away when you were in prison. So many things happened in the family. You were never allowed to go out. You remained in prison for 27 years. And you remained loyal to the struggle till ultimately you gained independence. And then, at the right time, you stepped down and passed on the leadership to your successor. This is an example to be followed, not to be abandoned.